All right, starting week 3, very intense practice. Had an additional challenge today with the heat. It's 20 degrees warmer today than it was last week, and so I thought they handled it really good. Now, I'm not saying it didn't tax them, physically and mentally a little bit, but I was really happy with the way they pushed through. Going back to the scrimmage Saturday, if we look at the film, it's kind of what I talked to you about post-practice. A lot of good, and all of the bad is correctable stuff. Stuff you just got to clean up. You kind of, what's stopping you is yourself, and that's both sides of the ball. And so that's what we challenged them this week to get things cleaned up. Where now all of a sudden was that a great play because of execution and because somebody did something special, or was it because of a bust on the other side? And so, you want to get it to where it's because of execution, somebody doing something special with the ball. So that's the real challenge this week. We want to play better both sides of the ball and special teams Saturday than we did last Saturday. And if we can do that, I'll be really, really happy going into our last week of spring practice.
How important is it to make a jump this week, third week of spring practice, coming off the first real scrimmage, and you kind of improve as a team?
Well, I think the thing you want to do, your last of your installs are going in this week. We've thrown a lot at them, both sides of the ball. There's all this offensive stuff is brand new, and so the kids are having to spend extra time on their own just to make sure they have everything down. Because if you're wanting to play fast, you can't be thinking. It's got to be just like that. And so that jump this week is got to be in the execution phase offensively. And I think defensively, the jump has got to be handling the speed of the offense. I thought we struggled with that a little bit on Saturday. And so, this Saturday's scrimmage, just really want to see, that tremendous improvement there with those two things.
You mentioned the heat. How do you get the boys ready to handle that plus 10 degrees and also go fast this summer?
Well, we had them, as far as today, we talked about hydrating, yesterday, get a good night's sleep, hydrating throughout the day today. But, you got to condition yourself. And that's, thankfully we have fall camp to, condition us to the heat. A couple of our opponents coming in here early in the season, I hope it's blistering hot, when they come in here, because, at least our kids are used to, practicing in it. It's that's the thing. It's 80 something today. It's going to be 60 on Friday, Saturday. So that's spring in Eastern North Carolina.
We've talked a lot about the guys y'all brought in as transfers. What about the returning guys, especially offensively? Have any of those returning offensive players stood out through a few weeks of spring?
Well, I think if you're just looking at Saturday, I thought Dustin Hall had a great scrimmage on Saturday. I thought that, he looked like a really, really good player there in the middle. I thought Parker Moore had a really good day on Saturday. And I know that, he's playing with more confidence this spring than, maybe he has in the past. I think Marlon Gunn, he's, shown flashes of what, I thought he was going to be last year. And, I think he's practicing a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Tyler Savage, we've talked about him before, probably as much improvement as anybody on that side of the football. He's shown himself to be a guy that's going to play this fall and a guy that we can depend on. Chase Sowell, it's good to get him back Saturday. Of course, he had an explosive play with a long touchdown catch where he broke 2 tackles. And there's a Jari Patterson is having a really solid spring. So there's lots of our returners that I'm really pleased with. Keelan Robinson has shown some flashes this spring, like he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the rotation. It's a lot of guys on that side of the ball.
With the edge position, with Jeremy Lewis and Jack Powers moving on, how has the competition gone there to kind of replace those guys?
There's a lot. Talking about the rush, the boundary side position, I think it's a pretty heated battle with Raheem Craig and Sam Danka. I'm very pleased with Raheem. I think he's come in and really embraced that position, and he's shown a lot of twitch off the edge, and like he's a natural pass rusher. He's really improving playing in space, and I think that's helped Sam. Because Sam is having to play really, really hard and really at a higher level than he has in the past. So I think those two guys are doing a good job. And I think the field end position, you have your guys back from last year, so it's kind of the same group.
How's the leadership council for this year's team shaping up so far?
Good. I mean, it's all guys that have been here multiple years. It's guys that are A, really good players, and B, really solid leaders from a character standpoint in our locker room. And I think that they're doing a good job with not only helping me with things that we're doing, but they're doing a good job of holding some young guys accountable if they're having issues going to class or issues doing this or that. And so that's great to see. But I just it's a group that I think the world of. So I would expect nothing less.
Are y'all still, with the quarterbacks kind of splitting the reps the same way throughout?
The scrimmage Saturday, they both had equal reps. We looked at the stat stuff this morning. They were very even stat-wise. Continue to rotate them back and forth with the ones and the twos. And right now, I mean, you guys have seen some of it too. I mean, it's neck and neck. Now, each of them does things a little bit differently, but they both played really well.